Hello students, in this video we are going to see how to sacrifice your queen to create some weakness in the opponent's position. These will be long-term weakness and then you attack on these weaknesses. In this position, black played d cross e4. White played bishop cross e4. There is a discover attack on our queen. But instead of defending the queen, he decided to sacrifice it and he played knight cross e4. Opponent played rook cross g8 and you play rook cross g8. And now where is the compensation? You have bishop plus rook plus one pawn for the queen. Yeah, right now it's 9 versus knight. So it's not a real sacrifice. Yes, you are a queen down, but you have bishop, rook and pawn for the queen. So here white started with rook e1 and black played knight c5, attacking this queen. Queen goes to a2 and now here you play bishop cross f3. G cross f3 and now this is the long-term weakness. Now your goal is to attack on this weakness. Black first saved his bishop, bishop e3 and he played rook d3. Why? Because once the bishop moves, rook will put pressure on the weak f3 pawn. White plays rook c1 and black plays rook cd8. Now you have control over the d file. White plays rook c4 and you play knight e6. Now knight is trying to go to d4 to put more pressure on the f3 pawn. White here played a4 and black first played bishop c5 to get rid of this bishop. After bishop cross c5, you play b cross c5 and not only you are attacking on this weak pawn, you also have a passed pawn on c5. So after king g2, black plays g6. Black is not in a hurry. He has the long-term advantage, so he is just slowly building his position. White plays rook e4 and you play rook d6, f4, rook b8, h4, you play h5. You fix these weaknesses. Now the h4 weakness is also fixed. Black plays king h2 and you play rook b4. The rook is guarding this weakness, so you exchange it. Rook cross b4, c cross b4. You have this passed pawn. This passed pawn is important and knight is attacking these weaknesses also. Queen c4, queen defends it. And now you play rook d4. You are going to win this pawn. You are going to be up in material. So queen c8 check, king g7, opponent plays a5 and you simply take one pawn. Now these two pawns are still weak. Queen goes b7, queen wants to capture this pawn. So first you take on h4, king g2, g4 check, king f1 and now you start pushing this pawn. You push your own pawn. Opponent attacks the rook. You play rook g5 and now he captures the pawn. He has this dangerous pawn and you have your own dangerous pawn. So you start pushing it, h3. Opponent plays queen b8 to guard the a2 and now you can take on a5. Here white plays queen cross b4 and you play rook f5. So for the queen you have knight, rook plus these two pawns. So now you have the material advantage. You have this dangerous passed pawn and you are also attacking this pawn. So black has the winning advantage in this position. Now let's look at the next example. In this position we are black. Opponent's rook is pinning the knight and he decided to play knight e5 to put even more pressure on our knight. And here black decided to play knight cross e5. He decided to sacrifice the queen. Rook cross d8, rook cross g8, bishop cross e5, rook cross e5 and in exchange for the queen, black has a rook and a bishop. Black is slightly down in material, but that's okay because these pawns are weak, so we can put pressure on these weak pawns in the long run. That's why black has more than enough compensation for the queen. So white first played bishop d3 defending this pawn, and you play rook c5. Remember, these weak pawns are our target, so we attack them. White goes short castle and we play bishop f6, putting more pressure. He plays c4 and now we play bishop a6. Now we want to play rook c8 and try to capture the c4 pawn. He plays queen a4 and first we play rook cross d3, queen cross a6. First we defend our pawn, rook a5, queen c8 check, rook to d8, and queen goes to c7. And now we can play rook cross a2. Finally, we have managed to win one weak pawn, and now the material is completely equal. Plus this pawn is also weak. Okay, white here plays e5, bishop goes to g5, he plays g3. His idea is to play f4, but we counter attack with rook d2. Now these two rooks are on the second rank and you have a big strategic advantage. Opponent can give a check, but it does not matter, you just block it. Plus you have this passed pawn also. Opponent plays rook e1 and you play king h7, you unpin the bishop. Queen b7, and here black plays rook cross f2. White plays rook f1, and here black has a fantastic move in this position. He played bishop e7. What's the idea? Obviously opponent cannot capture the bishop because rook g2 check, then rook cross h2 check, and it will be a checkmate. So here he is forced to play rook cross f2, and now you can play bishop c5. And bishop is so active, you are going to win this rook. So king plays h1 and you capture the rook. You have absolutely zero weakness in this position. White has these two weak pawns, his king is trapped in the center, and this gives more than enough compensation for the queen. In this position, white played g4. His idea is to start pushing these pawns and try to create some counterplay against our pawn. And now first we play a5. Opponent plays h4 and we push the pawn. Opponent plays g5. And instead of reacting here, we continue to push the pawn. Opponent gives a check. He brings his queen closer to the king and we block it with g6. And he plays h5. A tricky move because we cannot capture it. Our pawn is pinned here. But we don't care. We simply go forward. We play a2. H cross g6. We play f cross g6. Queen b7 check. He's hoping that he will get a perpetual check. King g8. And he gives another check. And we block it with the bishop. So in the next move, we are ready to make a queen. He attacks our rook and we go rook b2. Now we will play rook b1 check followed by the queen, so we will get an extra queen. And that's why white resigned in this position. I hope you found this idea interesting. So there are multiple ways to sacrifice your queen for the long-term compensation and win the game. We have seen direct attack on the opponent's king. We have seen how we can get the bishop pair, how we can create weakness in the opponent's position for the long term and attack it. And we have also seen how we can get a passed pawn for the queen and win in the long run. That's it for today's lesson. Now let's go to the next one.